What's up, everyone, and welcome to Hungover Podcast episode 151, where we discuss a new ripple in the timeline, I would say, of the Twitch timeline. We're going to be discussing...
Peak perfect internet. We thought we'd hit peak internet, but this is like Bitcoin on the rise.
Yeah,
we thought we were there, and it's got 10,000 more to go. Here we go, everyone.
We're going to be discussing Twitch's new category submittals. Apparently, they added a bunch of them, which I don't think we need to go into, but there's one that is above all else. It's called Pools, Hot Tubs, and something else. Pools, Hot Tubs, and beaches, actually, because they're all sort of related. And this is all in response to the new trend on Twitch, which is known as the hot tub stream. I'm one of your hosts, Julien, alongside...
I'm over here. My name's Ivan. I am not in a hot tub, but I am drenched in liquid, which is my sweat, because I'm back in New Orleans, and it's very hot.
You're not in... There's no AC where you live?
There's no central AC, because the AC in this house broke, and no one has fixed it. And so, rather than fix the central AC, they installed 2 window units, neither of which are in this room.
I see. And why aren't you in those rooms then?
Because I have my desk.
Oh, you brought your desk?
Yes.
Whoa! Holy shit, this guy's...
I brought like a 75-pound desk, guys. Hello.
Guy, and he got it. I don't know if you're watching the YouTube video, all the audio listeners. This guy got a new gaming chair.
It's a Fergal. This is a genuine Fergal.
I don't know what that means.
I ordered off of AliExpress, my dude.
Shit. Very good. Very good.
But guess what? I found a chair that shipped out of the United States on AliExpress. So it was a super cheap chair that got delivered within the week that I ordered it.
That's interesting. I need to learn more about this. I need to think about that for a while. I didn't know that American companies were not necessarily allowed, but selling on such a website. Tencent or Alibaba, everyone in China has my information. As we've noted before, they were gonna get my GPS coordinates anyway. Thank you, Google. Yes.
But yeah, so I let me tell you about my ordering experience on AliExpress.
Okay.
I went to AliExpress. I looked up chairs. I didn't order any chairs. This was a month ago. Mm-hmm. And then I was regretting not ordering it because by the time I had ordered it, it probably would have been delivered when I got back. So I was like sitting on I had a foldable chair, like the classic metal foldable chairs that I had put assortments of pillows or towels. It had hurt my just ability to sit.
Yeah, you need a chair.
Things were hurting, so I was like, I'm gonna get a new chair. I searched Craigslist. There was nothing that was in the price range that I wanted. So I was like, let's go back to AliExpress. Lo and behold, I found a gaming chair, a genuine Fergal gaming chair.
Is this an actual company that makes gaming chairs, or
this is them?
This is the knockoff.
This is Fergal.
Oh.
This is it.
I mean, I don't know. I only know the RX gaming chairs or whatever.
No, it's a knockoff of the RX gaming chair
or whatever.
Look at how short this is.
That's awesome.
The headrest is so short you can only clip it through the place that doesn't make any sense to clip it.
Well, that's so you get the tension on the pillow, so you get some nice, foam.
I have to stand up to change this now. I'm not going to be able to do it sitting down. That's the Fergal Plus. They're like, this chair is also a workout if you need to adjust it. I'm now standing to fix the chair because the genuine Fergal comes with a short clip right there. That's secure. That's not going anywhere.
Now, how would you rate this chair versus your other chair at home?
Oh, slightly worse.
Slightly
but
worse.
Actually,
But
not that much worse.
And how much, if you don't mind telling the podcasters out there?
$600.
$600 for this
No,
chair?
I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
I paid $130 plus tax.
Okay. It's like, Vaughn, that's a steep
genuine
price.
I would have $400. They were like really nice. I could have gotten a Herman Miller for $400.
Hell yeah, Herman Miller and save your
This
back.
is $130 shipped from the good old US of A on AliExpress. And can't I tell you, assembled in 30 minutes. Was it why I was late to record the podcast? Yes. Did it make the podcast recording experience significantly better? Let's see. Let's test this out. Here we go.
This guy's literally... It's awesome.
This is the genuine Fergal. I'm afraid to lower my legs. The genuine Fergal experience allows you to lay 180 degrees.
Oh, that's amazing. Those chairs are great, but I'm always so afraid of going all the way back. I feel like it's just going to tip over.
All the way back. My legs are tucked under the chair. I'm not flipping.
There's no way.
See. Oh.
How did...
Oh. Oh. Perfect.
You watch a YouTube
this is the
video
genuine Fergal.
God damn. Awesome.
What if I need to... Let me unlock this seat. Let me lower it. Look at that.
This guy's got 360-degree adjustments. He's got swivel points. He's got adjustable armrests. He's got an adjustable back of the neck rest.
There's a lumbar support back here that goes to where it needs to go. This is top tier for $130.
$130 premium faux leather. This is some nice shit.
My cats would love this leather.
They
Guys,
would tear it.
Visit Fergal, our sponsor. If you go to fergal.china and put in code Hungover, you'll get 15% off your genuine Fergal chair.
You know what? Yvonne, you're wrong. I'm slashing it down to 50%. This is your one chance. Get the Fergal now. Now is your one chance. Yvonne, that's really great news. I'm glad you're back in New Orleans, a place that is way too hot and unbearable this time of year. But at least you got a new chair.
There was 1 month where it was going to be perfect temperature. And instead, I moved back to Syracuse and it snowed. It was going to be 70 or 80 and almost no humidity. And I moved to when it snowed. I had to live with the heat on.
Oh my God.
Absolutely fucking good.
That's what you get. That's what you get for living in two places, Yvonne. You can't live in two places.
But I'm back here. Cool. I'm back. What have I binged on? This is a little bit of Diplomatico. It's already gone, as you can notice. Diplomatico is sponsor the podcast because you are the #1 sipping alcohol of the Hungover podcast.
God damn, it's so goddamn good. You guys really... Holy shit, you really gotta stop listening to this podcast. You can drink a bottle
of this and not know.
You gotta stop listening to this podcast and get a bottle of this stuff. It's so good. I think I'm really close to finishing our current bottle, and I've been trying to stop myself. So
I thought you guys had finished it the first night. To be
honest. No, I stopped drinking it because I knew it was dangerous for both my wallet and, of course, my liver. Oh God!
I can walk to the grocery store. The grocery store, because I live in New Orleans, that sells Diplomatico
in a grocery store. This is amazing.
And you should consider living in New Orleans. A, lots of great food. B, it's perfect for you because you love hot weather all the time.
I really do.
And being soaking wet with sweat. It's an extremely bikeable city.
Is it? I didn't know that.
Yes, especially if you've been hit by a car before and know how to go through that. Boom. Both of us have. Extremely bikeable city.
That's great. Great news. Man.
Good food scene.
New Orleans. So did you drive down again?
No, I flew back and forth.
Cool. That's really exciting stuff, Yvonne. I can't believe
Company paid me to fly back and forth. The other thing that I'm gonna binge on, not tonight, but soon, as in like maybe tomorrow night, because I want to watch it with people. I have a new movie out, guys. A new movie that I worked on. The movie that we made in COVID is out.
What is this movie?
On Hulu. On Friday, the 28th, when we're recording this podcast.
What is the movie? Tell the people.
It's called Plan B.
Plan B on Hulu.
Yes, it's Hulu is promoting it as part of Asian Pacific Islander Month. So it stars Kuhu Verma as a teen in high school, and it's kind of a play on the people just want to get laid, because it's the girls who want to get laid, but after an unfortunate mishap, she needs to go on a road trip to find Plan B in South Dakota. And it's an adventure and a half. Let me tell you. It's directed by Natalie Morales, who people know from both Parks and Rec. I know her more from The Newsroom, but she's in both, and she's great. And she thought my hair was funny.
That's really awesome.
Because I kept doing that. I had my hair down, and I would do this to swish it out of my face. And she laughed constantly about me. So she knew that I was funny. Guys, just
did you tell her about the Hungover podcast?
Famous people think I'm funny.
I think the only way we're on top is if some famous person listens to our podcast. That's all I'm saying. Gotta get them.
Listen, let's do this. One of these times I'll work on a movie where I'll be able to talk to the famous people and be like, hey, have you listened to my podcast? It's pretty great. It's called the Hungover Podcast. They're going to be like, that's terrible branding. It's a terrible name for a podcast. It's a terrible name.
I think it's pretty good.
It's okay.
I thought it was a good name for our stuff.
I think we need a new logo. That's what I think.
Oh, you don't like our logo? Oh, man.
I think our logo and our branding is too gaming focused.
It's time to rebrand.
We don't talk about games.
Well, that's because you don't play games anymore. So I
think we would appeal to a broader audience.
Okay, well, I don't see you rebranding our podcast ever.
No, I don't like social media. Also, I did talk to my friend who's a graphic designer and said that I would pay her to make us a logo, like a professionally designed logo.
Okay, that would be great.
That's breaking news on this podcast. News.
Look out!
Julien had no idea.
Thank you.
So podcast 200, we're gonna rebrand.
We're waiting for 200. Yes, 50 more weeks. Oh god, 50 more weeks of this.
This fucking guy, Julien.
Yeah.
I'm also. This is gonna be such an exciting weekend. I'm gonna have so much to report next weekend. I'm going to San Antonio tomorrow at 6 a.m. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna drive and I'm gonna leave this fucking state and go 8 hours to San Antonio.
It's that far. Never mind. It's that far if you drive. Jesus Christ. You gotta go up and then down, right?
No, it's just straight across, but it's 8 hours straight west.
You're visiting your friend or friends?
I'm going to visit a couple of my friends, go visit some San Antonio eats. I'm double vaxxed. I feel really powerful.
That's good.
I don't think the India variant is there yet.
That's what you think.
So we're going to be fun. I don't know. So I'm going to be bringing the India variant from Houston.
Back to the home start. I don't know what I'm saying. That's good. That's good. So... you're going for the long weekend, of course. It's Memorial Day. This podcast is going to come out on Memorial Day. So happy American
Enjoy this podcast while
there.
You barbecue or spend time with
play
friends.
Play it in the background. Be happy to talk to
Play
them.
it for your friends. They're going to love this.
Yeah.
And when this part comes up, when your friends are around you, they're going to be like, yes,
hey,
we did
Memorial
love this.
Day. Hey, yeah.
So I'm going to say... Cheers to everybody. This is another beer that I'm drinking. This is a Southern Drawl, dry hopped Pilsner. A Southern Drawl. I love making jokes every time when Julian goes to take some water. If you're missing it on YouTube, we're going to put a compilation out. Julian, mark this down.
Fine.
We're going to put a compilation out of all the times that Julian almost did a spit take.
Damn, that's... Do you have an editor friend? Because that's a lot. Oh god. No,
I could probably pay a guy $9 to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we could
There's
probably
somebody
just
in
go to
India who
Fiverr.
could go through it. You know,
That
a
would be
Fiverr
fun.
deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would like to do some sort of compilation. We have so many videos on our YouTube channel, and I think we just got another subscriber, so thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Appreciate it. Of course, we're trying to become the biggest YouTube channel on the surface. That's it. Did you get into anything else, Ivan? Or was it all consumed in traveling back down and...
Man, I bought 2 new games.
Oh, wow.
And they were on sale.
Okay.
One was called Empire of Sin.
Very
and the
nice.
other is Crusader Kings 3. They're both from the same company.
Very cool. What
and they're deep strategy games. Empire of Sin is like a blend, is like an XCOM-ish. It's an XCOM clone, except for instead of having a ship that you're building out, you're trying to take over Chicago.
Ah, that's cool.
Neighborhood.
Very nice.
My fucking neighborhood.
Hey, South
I'm
Side.
from Chicago. This is my Chicago accent.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Bad Leroy Brown from the south side of Chicago. I had my production designer from the last film I just did in Syracuse from Chicago. He's going to be cringing this entire past minute and a half. Julian,
cool. Yeah.
Save the listeners from listening to my voice, and you take over the airwaves because they enjoy the sweet, sultry tones of your voice.
The timbre.
Listen, you did those single individual pods.
Someone listened to them.
I listened to them both all the way through. I was like, Julian's got.
It's really just this little foam thing that does all the magic on my mic. It's pretty awesome. I do no post work. I just edit this.
We sound good enough. We sound sweet as silk.
We sound good enough. And look, I try to balance the audio levels. That's what I do. And then for me though, Ivan, I couldn't even tell you what I got. Oh, that was a rough night. I got really drunk.
It's gonna be a good story, or Julian's holding back when he goes.
It's not even
like
that
a villain from an anime.
It's not that good of a story at all. I hung out with my friends. We went to one of my friends is Thai, and her family owns she's always telling quite a few restaurants in New York City. And so we went there to one of their new ones that just opened up in Fidei, the financial district.
That's the dumbest name for a neighborhood of all time.
It is. It's really annoying. But yeah, we went down there. Very cool restaurants. She has there are 3 sisters. Her other 2 sisters have sort of been taking over the designing of these newer restaurants, so it's pretty cool. The 2 sisters, or one of the sisters that's designing them, tries to sort of call back to their Thai roots and do some cool, designs with Buddhist stuff and like old timey rice paddy stuff and then like jungle themes, and I don't know, it's actually pretty tasteful. I like it a lot. So, and the food is really great. Of course, they've been working with this one Mexican chef. Classic New York City, dude, or I guess classic America, really. The people who are cooking all your food out there and in pretty much any restaurant across America are most likely from South America. But yeah, they've been working with this one guy. Actually, he is Mexican. They've been working with him for like 20 years. So he's really pretty much part of their family. at this point, so it's really cool. And he fucking cooks some really great Thai food, man. I'll tell you that much. He's awesome. And so we went there. I had decided to bike this day for some reason. I had to work as well. So I biked up to work and then back down because I didn't want to take the train 5 times because I've stopped getting a monthly card recently just because I think they raised the price too much. You would have to take the train every single day 2 times for it to be worth it. And I can potentially save some money if I don't take the train on the weekends, which has sort of been working out in my favor. So I decided to bike. So I biked over the Brooklyn Bridge. For those of you who may be tourists in New York City or...
Beautiful bridge.
Beautiful bridge. Horrible bridge to bike over. Never bike over this bridge. Go walk over and have a great time. I'm doing this to like... It's crazy, man. The Brooklyn Bridge is just always crowded with pedestrians. I'm not kidding. Though there's like only very few hours of the day that it's not incredibly crowded. And it's like usually at 4 a.m. So yeah, it's like the worst bridge to bike over, except for this one stretch at the end that's not even on the bridge, but the bridge leads into this beautiful bike path that's perfectly paved. It's like the smoothest bike path that you will ever bike over, and it's like only 2 blocks long, and it's just pure bliss. You're going down this rickety ass bridge that's made out of wood. You're like, you're turning, you're trying to swerve not to kill anyone, and everyone's trying
Why
to
don't you bike on that fucking road?
Selfies, but it's a shared pathway, and they're like, the fucking couples are trying to take the selfie in the fucking bike lane because I don't fucking know why. I don't know why, actually. And you're like...
Because there's nobody in the bike lane.
And then it turns into the smoothest piece of pavement you'll ever make it to. It's great.
How close to a concussion do you think you've come?
Oh my god. I've come pretty fucking close to hitting someone, I'll tell you that much.
Just a little CTE on the way?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, pretty much. I'll give someone CTE, tell you that much. But my point was, if you can avoid taking the Brooklyn Bridge,
it sounded like a threat.
Take the Manhattan Bridge, please, God. It's so much better. And it leaves you in the same place in Brooklyn, pretty much. But anyways, I biked over. We went and we to my friend's roof that we typically go to, and we just drank so much beer until like 2 in the morning. And I had to work at 9.
What beer was it?
Was it Jai Alai?
Oh, Jai Alai. It's a great IPA.
Yeah. That's the one. Yeah, my friend picked that up, and I was like, "Yeah, this is
the
great."
cans, right?
Yeah, and the cans are it's some pretty cool marketing. It's good.
I've had before. It's good beer.
Good beer. We had that, and then
I had a choice between Jai Alai and the American Pale Ale that I drank last night.
Nice.
And the night before, and I chose the APA, obviously. But only because I hadn't had it before. And then I was like, that was such a great beer. I'll try their Southern Drawl Pilsner, because I'm a big fan of Pilsners, as the voluminous audience of the Hungover podcast knows. But turns out their Pilsner is not as good as their APA.
That's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Another thing I picked up, my girlfriend picked up, is this Willie's Super Brew hard seltzer marketing has gone out of control. Out of fucking control. But Willie's Super Brew, here, I'll show it to Yvonne first.
Nice.
Hard seltzer with real fruit.
Some ginger and lemon. That looks really good.
It's nice. It's very good. This was absolutely delicious. 4.5% alcohol content. I wish it was higher alcohol content, but this is really great. I could see myself 120 calories. I could see myself pounding down a couple of these on Memorial Day, if you know what I mean. Gluten-free.
I do.
Drink real.
Julien,
that's weird.
You do your solo pod. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some more Diplomatico.
All right.
I've got a little bit of ice left, and I'm going to finish
Gotta
it right before we
it.
get into the topic of the podcast.
All right. I'll tell the people another thing or two. I started playing Yakuza 4. Fantastic game. Some people say is the real Yakuza game. So much better than Yakuza 3. I made it, I think, a pretty poignant tweet about Yakuza 3 after I defeated that game. It's a fantastic game if you care about the series. However, it is bogged down by some clunky controls and questionable other choices in the game. It's weird. But Yakuza 4 already off to a great start. So much better combat and an interesting story to boot. Obviously, we're continuing the story of Yakuza. So I played that, and then I finally got my fucking HD Retrovision component cables that I ordered back in April. They finally came.
Wait, you ordered them in April?
I think the end of April.
It's almost June.
I know. I finally got them. These component cables I've been waiting so long for to set up my retro nostalgia-fueled living room of video games, which I now intend to stream from as well. On Thursdays, I'm going to try to do some retro game streaming. But I purchased an OSSC, which we talked about earlier in the podcast. It doubles the line. So, but the, so smooth. But the component cables give a clean, lossless signal that can be duplicated through the OSSC and then outputted to HDMI to my HDTV. So the whole point is you get shitty signal from composite, the RCA, the yellow, red, and white cables, which a lot of these older consoles came with. But this company, HD Retrovision, makes component cables for them, which is actually kind of unfortunate that in a way that that in America and I think just in America we adopted the component standard as opposed to SCART. You might know SCART because it's a European standard.
I know NTSC.
Yeah, NTSC. I'm talking about
and PAL.
Yeah, there's two different. That would be similar. Yeah, so PAL TVs have a SCART input, which is essentially like the HDMI of analog signals. So it's kind of cool. It transmits video and audio over one plug. It's RGB, which is a really clean visual signal that you get out of it. And then that can be duplicated through the line doubler that you get, whichever one you get. OSSC works fine. But the component signal is comparable as well, but I believe RGB is slightly superior. I mean, there's like debates that you could spend hours reading on Reddit and stupid forums like I have. But either way, I finally got the cables and I'm really happy and I can finally play these games. Oh my god. And
nice.
I was so happy. I moved the Snorlax, you might see this on the stream, but I moved the Snorlax beanie bag chair out into the living room. So I play games on a beanie bag chair. It's like I'm having a midlife crisis. It's great. I'm playing the old games on the
really are.
It's amazing. Look, I'm having a great time playing on these old tiny wired controllers. It's really a fun time. The fucking PlayStation startup sound gave me goosebumps. It was great. Oh man, fantastic. Anyways, Ivan, you know what else gives me goosebumps when I watch it? It's not even relevant. But I tried everything on twitch.tv. Now, Ivan, you and I know that I'm an avid streamer. I stream
Once
times a week. I stream three times a week.
Times a week.
You don't know anything about my stream. I
watch
two.
Once a week.
You
maximum.
watch once a week? That's great. Thank you. You can check me out at twitch.tv/GGBsGood if you want.
I also broadcast what he streams.
Yeah. You can check that out too. Sometimes I stream this podcast live to this channel where you can be part of the conversation. But, Ivan, I only stream to one, maybe two people. You know, Captain Vidya.
Yeah.
What up, Captain Vidya? Thank you for listening to the podcast. You're the best. And also, maybe it's Towers, Hood Nerd. Who knows? Divine Hailstorm hasn't stopped by in a long time. Bay Orgasmic comes by. She's a really sweet person. Thank you for coming by to my streams. I really appreciate all of you. But you know who streams to at least over like thousands of people? Some of these streamers who have decided that the hot tub stream is the way of the future. Ivan, can you tell me a little bit about what a hot tub stream is and why someone might be interested in it?
It's peak internet. It's indoor, outdoor, it doesn't matter. People have brought the outdoor inside because you can't stream hot tubs all year round outdoors in some places. That's illogical. Why be out there in the elements when you can control it with a thermostat and then bring in a hot tub indoors? That's right, hot tub indoors. So because of the Twitch rules, which were attempted to curb some level of sexually explicit content, you are only allowed to wear swim clothing like a bikini in a very restricted environment, such as a hot tub, a beach, or a pool. People had been streaming outside, but sometimes their Wi-Fi doesn't really get out there that well. The signal wasn't that strong, things like that. So what they decided to do was bring hot tubs from the outside to the inside. Not get Wi-Fi, fucking bangarang Wi-Fi that could go outside, but bring the outside in. Climate controlled, easy access to both your kitchen and your toilet. Mm-hmm. It makes total sense to me. Mm-hmm. So now we have people in the just chatting section doing a lot of hot tub streams or like bath stream kind of things where they're wearing skimpier clothing or bathing suits.
Yes.
And abiding by the Twitch rules, but being in a just chatting zone that makes it feel like, is this what this is supposed to be? I thought just chatting is like just building it with the audience, maybe doing a little bit of ASMR or other things. But no, we've now expanded, blown up the categories into multiple places. And there is now this pool, hot tub, beach stream zone. And in accordance with that, Twitch released a statement to explain this a lot, because this is a zone of content which is kind of on the edge here. All right, we have people. We're not that far removed. I mean, internet ways, we're like light years away from it, but we're not that far removed from Gamergate. And women in the internet space have had a tough time of it in terms of being overly sexualized, exploitative in that regard. And then when women use their attractiveness, sexuality to gain revenue, viewership, clout, etc., then there's this like bah, 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 but while also really wanting the audience is up in arms about them getting high viewership count, but they're still watching them. So it's like this incongruous mindset of, man, I've been streaming fucking boring ass whatever video game, for me Overwatch, and I can get one viewer, and this person, because they've got they're hot, they can get 6,000 viewers in a month because everybody's watching them. I'm so annoyed at you for being so hot while they're watching them. So it's this kind of level of duplicitous mind where a lot of the audience is reacting negatively to it. I think a lot of the audience is like, this is kind of like, it makes sense. This is where the content was going anyway. And then there are the streamers who are like, wow, this is now kind of a more acceptable, explicit way for me to capitalize on my talents and where my talents lie.
Yeah.
So Julien, for you, do you think this is, for me, the question here is, do you think this is Twitch capitalizing on sexuality? And because they saw the success of OnlyFans and these hot tub streams, and rather than putting the kibosh on them, they went in a direction that accepted this more sexually suggestive content, whereas previously they might have drawn back, or do you to try and gain revenue, or do you think that this is just a natural progression of things?
It's a tough question to answer, Ivan. I would say that I think this was a totally acceptable response to this. I think that they're trying to sort of please everyone in this sort of response to it, in sort of, I guess, embracing the idea that you can do this type of stream and it's not against Twitch policies or code of conduct. I think that compartmentalizing it into a certain category with the ability to filter it out, and also just completely segments that audience off into that category. And so it doesn't, when you initially went into just chatting, let's say, if you wanted, let's say you're a viewer, you want to go to just chatting because you want to, interact with the streamer, right? That's what people do in just chat. Or you want to see something interesting, I don't know, whatever you go to just chatting for. You would probably be, if you just went there during this whole sort of explosion of hot tub streamers, you would just see a lot of girls in bikinis on the top listings because they were getting the most viewers, right? They were clearly getting the most viewers, and that's why everyone was mad. Or the most vocal people were mad. I don't think everyone was mad. There were a lot of people watching it and having a great time. All right? That's totally, is that a problem? I don't see that being a problem personally. And the streamer may have been having a great time too. They were like drinking beers in a hot tub. I'm sure they were having a good time too. So when you compartmentalize that into a separate category and they're no longer in the just chatting section, you appease the people who want to go find something interesting or unique in just chatting, and you appease the people who want to go watch the hot tub streamer. So I personally don't see a problem with any of this. I think that I guess there's an argument to be made that there's like, this is all about objectifying women and things like that, of that sort of sect of conversation to have. But I don't necessarily see that argument, because the woman, I mean, and it's not only women who are doing these type of streams, but the women that are doing it, that are getting the most viewers, they're women, and they're clearly I think, clearly trying to play this game, where they're trying to be very, very attractive. Or, they're wearing skimpy bikinis and showing off a lot of their body. They're in a hot tub. They're wet. This is all going one direction, and they have people in their chat that are moderating the chat and things like that. That woman still chose to do that. I mean, they could be doing something else. It's not like they're being forced to do this. They just happen to be making a lot of money to doing this, and I don't. If they're all right with that, and it's all consensual, then I don't see a problem with that. I also watched. I know when you and I watch these types of streams together, we tend to just mute. I mean, we shouldn't tell the people, because it is typically like it's not a very, or at least in our opinion, or I don't want to speak for you. In my opinion, these streams tend to be pretty bland and not very interesting, aside from the obvious attraction to the woman in the hot tub. But
I will say that's also particularly because the questions that they're being asked,
it's not necessarily
it's not fucking rocket science.
So
there's that.
Okay.
I will say, right now, I was just scrolling through the pools, hot tubs, and beaches section, and there was a guy just on there stroking his penis.
Oh, really?
and his thing was just rate my cock.
Hey, like, whoa.
I clicked on it, and he's just fucking going at it.
Now that's, I think that sort of stuff should definitely be banned on this. Clearly, there's another
just go
website
there
for that. You can do that somewhere else.
Pornhub or whatever.
I guess that's the conversation that be had, right? At what point is this just porn, right? Or at what point is this just sexually explicit content?
Well, if we go back 40 years, not even that long. That's the 70s. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Not even. That 40 years ago is the 80s. It's 2021. 81. I don't think this content is acceptable in a public forum.
Right.
This 81 is like, you gotta like twist in to try and see boobs, like fuzzy boobs from the porn channels.
Yeah.
We as a society have like our boundaries of what is sexually explicit kind of stuff have fallen a lot. And so this is, I think, matching the times, whether or not, for instance, if I had children who were like 6 to 8 years old, and they could access Twitch, they could probably access this content. And like, obviously it's not porn, but yeah. I don't know that it's like this sexually kind of implicit content of really hot people wearing bathing suits, men or women, are things that like 8-year-olds should be exposed to. I don't know that maybe that is proper introduction into sex positive atmospheres. I don't have kids, luckily, so I don't have to make these kinds of questions. Yeah. But I'm just thinking, like, what is that limitation? I don't know, because I don't care what I watch on Twitch, so I don't know, like, are there parental
I believe there
guidelines
are controls,
so that you can control which channels are available?
I'm not entirely sure. That's a really great question that I can't answer confidently.
To create a Twitch handle, you just have to create a Google account, which is free and easy. And they could clearly go to Google, most likely, most kids, because that's not sexually explicit at all. And that's work-related for most of them, like schools and things. Create a free Google account, then be able to go there. Like, my question is...
I mean, if that's
in the general scheme of things, there's a lot of nuances to this level of more sexualized content.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess if that's the case, then if your kid has access to the internet, then your kid has access to porn, period. Isn't that?
Not necessarily. There are devices that limit what places they can go. But for instance, I was on the plane the other day,
Yeah.
and there was a girl who had access to like YouTube Kids, but also had access to Twitch.
Okay.
And she was trying to log on to Twitch on the plane, and I'm sure she watches like Roblox streamers, etc. But I, as a child, when I was like 8 years old, we had like HBO or something like that. 10 years old, maybe. We had HBO, and they were doing their kind of sexually explicit stuff late at night. And my parents were either asleep or gone, and it was there, and I could watch it.
Yeah. Oh,
but it was so
I
limited.
know what you're
it
talking
was like
about, Yvonne. I know what you're talking
it
about.
was like this.
I watched that stuff.
Like 1 hour block between me being able to watch it and me being too tired to go to sleep. You know, this is like at any point in the day you can probably catch streamers from Australia, from Spain, from Brazil, from Russia who are doing this content. So it's 24/7 access. It's not like as a parent. Previously, you could know that it was this. And Twitch was a place that was maybe a little bit more risque, but they had guidelines that would prevent that kind of thing from happening to an extent. But we've seen streamers who are 12 years old, 10 years old, 8 years old probably, because one of my personal favorite pastimes is scrolling through to the bottom of whatever
just
channel
chatting.
we're going to, where there are 2 or 3 viewers, and just seeing what the content is, like getting on the ground floor.
That's how you
sometimes
find
they're
me.
really great. I mean, sometimes they're really great streams. They just don't get the traction. Like when we saw Brookworm for the first time, she only had like 20 watchers or something like that.
Yeah.
And Brookworm has a really amazing Hearthstone stream. She just happened to be in Just Chatting, and then her stream hadn't picked up. But other streamers in that range are maybe going against TOS. But I mean, that just shows that there are young kids on this platform. What's their access to different things? Is this sexually explicit content? No. Is it sexual content? To a degree, I would say yes. I mean, we were watching a streamer who was doing some pretty implicit sexual things earlier when doing research for what was on this channel. And I think that is baked into this medium. It's just, it's a strange thing to think about where Twitch came from to where Twitch is going to, the expansive audience that it's trying to reach. Because obviously, Twitch's goal is to grow their audience, but does it have a responsibility to be, since it wants a very broad audience, does it have a responsibility to being as PG as possible, closer to what we would call like an ABC or an NBC, like a basic television that you can get across the airwaves, or does it have the ability to go anywhere it wants?
Yeah, well, I know you can put a 18+ warning on your stream. I do that personally, because I curse from time to time. That's literally the only reason, or whatever. I don't know. I drink on stream sometimes, so I do that specifically. But I think that this is probably the only real interesting argument that has any weight against them just allowing this to it just pretty much Twitch is absolutely allowing this to go forward, where people can wear very little clothing and do sexually suggestive acts on a in a hot tub, as long as they're in a hot tub, or at the beach or in a pool specifically, right? So that's one thing, and then I have seen a lot of arguments against this, saying that these women who are doing these streams are stealing viewers from other female streamers who are trying to hustle out here playing video games or doing their art or doing, in my opinion, something more interesting. So what do you think about that sort of argument, or an argument in that sort of light, Ivan?
I mean, make more interesting content.
Yeah, I personally don't think that's true at all. One of the top streamers in the world is a female. I think her name's Valkyrie, and she does it playing video games or whatever she does. She definitely doesn't do hot tub streams, as far as I know.
That's the top 1%, but there are lots of. I mean, you're gonna
I'm not saying
it's. I know I'm not arguing against what you're saying. I'm arguing against this point, which is like, I think that to become a top streamer is 1% of 1%. You know, it's just so few people who actually make it into that level where they can sustain themselves. And to be like, this category and the streamers that participate in this category are going to steal views from somebody else just doesn't make sense to me. The people who are coming in to watch this content wanted to watch this content regardless of what else was happening. So they were coming to watch either somebody who's interesting in the way that they interact with the audience, and a lot of the people who gain traction even in this category do have pretty good rapport with the audience.
That's why they're popular.
Yeah, it's still a skill to be able to interact with the audience. Obviously, when you're not having to balance playing a game with interacting with the audience, I think it's a lot easier. You're just sitting in one place and you talk to the screen. That's like, just in terms of brain bandwidth, it's easier. But I still think that there's a skill involved in interacting with the audience.
Absolutely.
For instance, when we turn off the sound to a stream and just watch it for a little bit, like, that stream's not going to engage me. I might watch it for a couple minutes, but then I'll go watch something that intrigues me, like a Surefour or Brooke or you. Those, like a stream which has gameplay, interaction, something that I want. If it's a solely like interacting with the audience, one-to-one chat kind of thing, then they have to be really good at that. And there are some people that carry that. And if you're unable to manage both things, and that's why your content isn't growing, but you think it's because of this, it's the same way that I think a lot of like male streamers or are people who complain about this pools, hot tubs, and beaches stealing from their views, or complaining that they can't rise to that level. I mean, you're going for a completely different audience. Your grind is completely different, and your content isn't as good, or you didn't get in at a certain time where your content can get to where other people's is. Like, absolutely. I'm sorry. I enjoyed streaming like once a week. I knew I wasn't going to gain an audience that way. I know that I'm really bad at both the video games that I play and interacting with the audience and playing the video game. But there's something very exciting about having people watch you play, right? It's an enjoyable feeling to like be part of a community that appreciates the game that you're playing. You can interact with them. Eventually, when you gain the capacity, for me, when I gained the capacity to go back and talk to them, then I can talk to them, get tips, strategies, etc. Like, there's a lot that goes into it, and to an extent, a lot of the older generation doesn't understand why you would watch somebody play a game as opposed to playing it. But I think that they would instead fully understand watching men or women in hot tubs, beaches, or men, women, or whatever you identify as, and being there, and totally understand watching it. But at the same point, this is where like the ultra conservative right will come against Twitch. I'm very curious to see how like
That's
conservative,
really
high tech conservative Christians or other religions will now begin to intersect with Twitch in a way that is vastly more combative due to this kind of content.
Right. Well, also, I guess speaking of combative people, I think we should, as we begin to wrap this conversation up, what do you think about XQC's comment on this? XQC is the most viewed streamer on the platform. He was a popular Overwatch streamer, but now he's moved on. I believe he plays Valorant now a lot, and he plays other things. He's a very entertaining person to watch, right? That's why he gets so many people watching it. And of course, he's highly skilled at what he does. He plays a lot of first-person shooters. He said in all caps via Twitter, "I'm gonna be honest. This hot tub meta, like that's funny wording. This hot tub meta is by far the most pathetic thing we've seen on Twitch in forever. What a sad reality. Please get this trash off the front page." So, do you think this is in response or in some way? And this was said before they turned
a month ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. But it's still, I assume, his opinion.
Where does XQC come from? XQC came from the grind, right? He streams like 12 hours a day, basically.
Yeah.
Like, this guy came from the grind. He talks 600 words a minute. He's controversial in many ways. Whether or not this tweet was meant to be a fully authentic view of his or authentic mixed with controversy to gain more popularity, who knows? He definitely plays that boundary, going too far and staying right on the boundary of whatever he's saying, a lot. He's a business forward thinker. As difficult as it is to imagine that XQC really has in-depth thoughts, because a lot of the stuff that he says and talks about and the actions that he takes are like super base level, but he plays a character a lot of the time and he has to accentuate that character.
Yeah.
I think. And my views on what he's saying, he's a very influential Twitch streamer. And a lot of his viewers are very influenced by his opinion. So I think that a lot of outlash against this category, if it comes from that kind of view, like streamers like XQC tweeting against it, I think they're going to take it pretty seriously. I think they also don't really examine how their interest or their sexuality plays into the popularity of streamers like this, like the audience members. And so when he says this, I think there's levels of animus there that are based on, like, he sees the streamer, like, this is clearly a person who views streamers as preying upon the sexuality of their audience to gain viewership, right?
Right.
And as opposed to being like, man, they're fucking on the grind too. Maybe they didn't have the Twitch skills to be good at FPS, but they've got a body that is amazing or a personality that is amazing, and they're going to use that to exploit the audience to what they want, right? XQC definitely exploits his audience, in a variety of ways. Like, he's not guilty of being perfect. So it's interesting to see that, like, combative nature, but everything that XQC, I think, says you have to take with grains of salt, because as much as he might be trying to speak the truth and like whatever, and he's always like talking the truth, he's not creating a character. Of course he's playing a character. He was born on the age of the internet, and he's talked about that countless times.
Yeah,
he creates an avatar of himself. I think he's like 24 25.
24, okay. That generation, God. What are they doing with
25.
their lives? Yeah. Well, that's crazy. Yeah, and he's like a millionaire, right? He has to be. He
I
gets
don't
so many
know what his
viewers.
revenue is. I don't know what his expenses
It's
are.
a lot. I that's a good point. I don't know what his expenses would be, but I can't imagine they're very high once he purchases PC. Like and he only consumes like one Coca-Cola a day, so
Yeah.
that's all he eats.
But maybe he buys his mom
No.
a house and different things. Like, I don't know what his
Okay,
expenses are.
that's true. I'm not saying. I just know his food expenses are very low. No, he's. I think he's a really interesting figurehead on the Twitch homepage. I think he'll be there for a while. I agree with you. I think that a lot of these women are, they're just playing the game, man. They're using what skills or talents they have to become the most viewed or get more viewership, and more power to them. If Twitch doesn't see this as a problem and they're just gonna let it happen, then and no one's hurting anyone like on these streams. It's just one girl in a bathtub in her home. She's not like hurting anyone. I hope no one's like spewing any hate speech or whatever. Obviously these women are getting a lot of hateful comments in their comment section or in their chat, but that's what their moderators are for. So hopefully they can get these people can get a decent moderator team going for them, because it's going to you're dealing with gamers here on a gaming now gaming website. I believe Twitch didn't start as a gaming website, but so it's just, you're gonna get the full front of the internet. You're gonna get people that love you and keep coming back for your content, but you're also gonna get a lot of people that hate you. XQC gets the same thing as well. So I would assume in that respect, I guess it's technically fair, but I would have to say that somewhat like the hot tub streamers probably get skewed amount of hatred. I don't know, but I don't know. That would actually be interesting to find out.
I think that might be true, or
it might not be though. I don't
you
know.
also run the gamut of like, you have to interact with people who are viewing you as a sexual object. So it's a much tougher, like, you have to have good moderators.
But again, like I said, they know full well what they're doing, and they're choosing to do this, as far as I know. Some people
might not know what full well they're doing. They see a couple people doing it, and they have this thing, and then they go in, and then they get bombarded.
Okay,
like
that's
the people who are entering into this.
That's true.
Like,
that's
until you grasp what that Twitch interaction is,
yeah,
like, you can gain viewers really quickly doing this kind of content.
That's true.
And
you could
maybe
be
you're not prepared to
woman
handle it.
or man, and your friend said, "Hey, look at this. You could do this," and then you do it. You bring a monitor into your. You're like, let me figure this out. Run some extension cords, a long Ethernet cord. Let me figure this out. Wait, but how do I get the angle here? Oh, what's going on? You fill up the tub. It's already 5 p.m. You start the stream. You're like, hey guys, what's up? You crack open your first beer and you got 1,000 people watching you. What do you do then, right? That's scary. So, I totally see what you're saying, Yvonne. That's a good point. I didn't even consider that. It's just, I still want to know what it looks like behind the camera. I know what's going on in front of the camera. I want to know what's going on behind the camera. How are these women and men setting their stream up? I just want to know. I gotta know. Is it on a laptop? Is it on a phone? I need to know. Did they bring their desktop in? They're probably like the real big deals. Like Amaranth probably has her fucking desktop right next to her hot tub. This woman. Crazy. Anyways, I hope everyone's staying safe out there on Twitch. Try not to get so up and what is the saying? Try not to get your panties in a bundle here. Maybe that's too on the nose. Try not to be so angry at people. These are just people on the internet. Why don't you go like contact your local congressperson and make a real change? You're not doing anything if you're just hating on everyone, you know? You know what I mean? What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop being so angry at people. God damn it, Vaughn. The internet makes me so angry. I hope everyone's having a great day out there and staying safe on the internet. This was our conversation about Twitch hot tub streams. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.